dedicating a highest temple, resisting Satan's feast. Let's go.
The first book of Maccabees, chapter 1,
Verse
1.
Verse 1. Let's go.
And it happened that after Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth.
So right now we have this guy named Alexander, and he's basically setting up the Greek Empire, as Daniel said, and he's about to go and divide his kingdom. After he makes this great kingdom for Greece, he's going to divide his kingdom amongst his 4 generals. We're going to jump to verse 7, where it's really important because one of his generals ended up having power over Israel. And because of that, a lot of stuff happened concerning our feast days, our temple, our worships, our laws. A lot of stuff happened because of this man taking power. So let's jump to chapter 7. Chapter 9. Let's go to 9. Not chapter 9. Verse 9. Verse 8. Let's start at 8.
And his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death they all put on crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
And evil was multiplied in the earth. What evil was multiplied?
And continue.
Yeah, continue.
And there came out of them a wicked root.
One more time, a little bit louder.
There came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been an hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men,
who pursued many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had such sorrow.
So he says, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen round about, and depart from the laws of the Most High. They're going to depart from those things which were established by our forefathers, not by the Most High, through our forefathers. So you're seeing that now they're going after the things of the heathen, the wicked things of the heathen. And because of this, this wicked thing that they're doing, there is now our people going after the feast, festivals, and laws of Satan, and rejecting the days of the Most High, and which we are supposed to keep. Let's continue.
So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein, that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
So he gave them license to do ordinances after the heathen. Now, you're going to find this a familiar pattern throughout Israel's history. Because remember, we got we got destroyed basically by the Most High because we kept on leaving his laws and his statutes in which he established for us to do. And we kept on turning to those things of the heathen, as we see here. So for that, there was a band of brothers known as the Maccabees who came with their father, and they began to fight against the heathen. The Maccabees, Judas Maccabee was the first leader, and they fought against the heathen so that they can rededicate the temple to the Most High. But this has an even greater meaning, because these people which had us leave the feast of the Most High had us going a-whoring after their Elohim. And this goes way back to the time of the kings. Let's go to 1 Kings. And we're going to see our people going off after these things, these wicked things, and which were established by the heathen. This is during the split of Israel. Israel became split because of Solomon's sin. That's actually in, let's go to 2 Kings, 2 Kings 17. Solomon sinned and his son took over, and after Solomon sinned, we began to do wicked things inside of Israel. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 17. 2 Kings chapter 17, verse 7.
Okay. The book of 2 Kings chapter 17, verse 7.
Yeah.
For it was so that the children of Israel had sinned against Ahijah their power, which brought them up out of the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh, and had feared other Elohim.
So we began to fear other Elohim. This ranged from Solomon. Go ahead.
And walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom Ahijah cast out from before the children of Israel, and from the kings of Israel, that which they made.
Go ahead.
And the children of Israel did secretly those things which were not right against the Most High their power, and they built them high places in all their cities.
So we began to secretly, that means under the mask of righteousness, we began to secretly do those things which were wicked and to go against the Most High. Let's jump to verse 16. 15.
And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain.
They followed vanity and became vain. Let's continue.
And went after the heathen which were round about them, concerning whom Ahijah had charged them, that they should not do so like them.
So we began to worship as the heathens did. And we began to do the wicked things in which we saw around about us. This is where Israel went off. Now, this is before the Maccabees, but this continues to happen over and over again, and the Most High continues to send us into captivity because of these wicked things we keep doing. But the Most High does not want us to any longer follow these feast days of the heathen. Many people will say that, hey, we can follow Christmas, Easter, and all these different other wicked feast days of Satan. But we have to understand the reason that the Most High took us out of the land was because of us following these wicked feast days. And what they don't understand is by following these evil, wicked days, we're falling into the temptation of other Elohim. Just because you follow Christmas and you say it's to Christ doesn't mean it's to Christ. You're following in the same ceremony in which conjured up the demons during the time of the heathen, which celebrated it before they were put under the title Christian. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 4. Go and... we'll jump up to verse 1 and read down for them. Jump up to verse 1, 12 and 1.
These are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe to do in the land which Ahijah, Elohim of thy fathers, giveth thee to possess it, all the days that ye live upon the earth. And ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess serve their idols.
Continue.
Upon the high mountains and upon the hills, and upon under every green tree. And ye shall overthrow their altars, and break their pillars, and burn their groves with fire. And ye shall hew down their graven images of their Elohim, and destroy the names of them out of that place.
So here we see the Most High is telling us, destroy all their items of worship, destroy their gods, destroy the places where they worship, destroy the idol, and all the different things they use to worship their evil, wicked gods. He told us to destroy them. Alright, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 15.
32. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 15.
Okay.
But Jeshurun waxed fat, and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick.
Jeshurun is another word for Israel. Jeshurun is another name for Israel. Continue.
Thou art covered with fatness. And he forsook Elohim which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation.
They lightly esteemed the rock of their salvation. Israel was lightly esteeming the Most High their salvation, and did no longer see him as a great power, but lightly esteemed him as an Elohim equal to all the others around about. Let's continue.
And they provoked him to jealousy with strange Elohims, and abominations provoked they him to anger.
They provoked him with strange Elohims and abominations. They provoked him to anger. Now let's see why we should not worship as the heathens worship. Let's read this next verse.
And they sacrificed unto devils, not to Elohim, to Elohims whom they knew not, to new Elohims that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not.
One more time, read verse 17 again. One more time.
They sacrificed unto devils.
They sacrificed unto devils.
Not to Elohim.
These things in which they were sacrificing to are devils. This is why the Most High does not want us to worship as they worship, because you are, you're calling basically you're gesturing the gestures that these people do. You're calling in your what do they say? You're provoking, not provoking, but invoking. You're trying to the things. If you're following the same ceremonies and festivals as the heathen, you're invoking demons to come in. You're invoking these devils to come in. That's why he said, flee from those things the Gentiles do. He said, don't worship me as they worship, because it's not going up to me. It's going to their heathen gods and their wicked Elohim. So now we're going to go to 1 Corinthians 10 and 20. So this is why the Most High does not want us to be connected in their days and their feasts, because you're invoking demons to yourself. You're collecting demons by doing these different things. You got it? Let's go ahead. 1 Corinthians 10 and 20.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, and not to Elohim. I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Most High with the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Most High's table and of the table of devils.
See, so the things that the pagans sacrifice, the Gentiles sacrifice, are unto devils. He does not want us to partake in the things of the heathen and the things of the Most High. This is the reason why we have so many problems in Israel, because we're invoking demons when we follow their feasts, their holy days. We're in no ways, no matter what label you put on it, you're no ways following the Most High. So now let's get right to the point. We're in the feast of dedication, and around this same month or same time period, they're going to be worshiping on their Christmas, and which is Christmas, mass meaning death. As I've recently learned, they're celebrating the death of Christ, but also on this same day they worship the birth of all the Elohim of the earth, from the Egyptians to the Babylonians to the Greeks to the Romans and anybody else that has an Elohim. They worship their Elohim's birth on this same day. Some have, frayed away from it, but this is the day in which they celebrate the birth of their gods. Not today, but December the 25th. So now let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 through 4. And let's see what the Most High has to say about this. Now, most people are saying, well, we're not dealing with the idols on that day. Well, the tree is an idol, whether you want to believe it or not. Just because you don't bow down and serve it, every time you put a gift underneath it, that you're putting it on the altar of that day. You're putting your gifts That's what we did. Israel would sacrifice gift offerings, and sacrifices. An offering is a gift in itself, which you sacrifice to the altar. You must bow down and put your gift under the Christmas tree. You're bowing down to these demons in which inhabiting this feast day, this evil, wicked day. And when you do the gestures, you're actually invoking them. You're bowing down to the tree and you're putting the gifts underneath it. That's why everybody takes on a different spirit than usual on this day, or the week which comes before this day and a little bit after. Certain spirits are starting to rise up on this day, and they're taking power on that day because of their worshipers that are worshiping them. So that's why the Most High said to us through Paul, he says, don't fall into involuntary worship of angels. You have to research and look at these different things. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 4. And let's see what the Most High says. Not only does he want you to do away with the idols, he wants us not even to follow the same way. He says, don't worship me in the way the heathens do. He says, don't do it. Go ahead. Read chapter 10, verse 1.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1.
Go ahead.
Hear ye the word which Ahiah speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith Ahiah, learn not the way of the heathen.
Learn not the way of the heathen.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
For the heathen are dismayed at them. Continue.
For the customs of the people are vain.
The custom of the people are vain. He's not even talking about the idols yet, the graven images yet. He's talking about the customs in which they partake. That means going out and actually, if it's Easter, you're going and you're doing the Easter egg hunt, or if it's Valentine's, you're giving out Valentine's cards, or if it's Halloween, which most people that believe in the Torah should not have to ask the question whether or not Halloween is good or bad. So when we see these people following in these customs, we know this is in honor of devils, and you're invoking those demons into your home, into your day, and then people wonder why there's so much stress around the time of Christmas to go and get gifts, and they have to get the gift for the people. Some people commit suicide, and all these different spirits rouse up depending on what your situation is. But this is the day in which they want you to do these things secretly, without your knowledge, worshiping their Elohim, which are devils. Let's continue to read. Verse 3 again.
For the customs of the people are vain.
For the custom of the people are vain.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
One cutteth the tree out of the forest.
Or the work of the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe.
The work of the hands of the workmen with the axe.
They deck it with silver and with gold.
They deck it with silver and with gold. Now somebody said, wait, they cut the tree down and then they would carve it up and then they would layer it with gold. But this doesn't say anything about them carving up the tree after they cut it down. It says they cut it down and then started to, what did they say? Deck it with what?
With silver and with gold.
Don't they say deck the halls? Let's continue.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not.
Now, still we haven't heard anything in here talking about them carving it up. They're taking a tree, they decked it with silver and gold, and now they're making it so it won't move. Let's continue.
They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Do not be afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither is it in them to do good.
So here we see the heathens' customs and their holidays and what they're worshiping at this very same time that we're worshiping the Most High. Not worshiping, really, we're celebrating and worshiping the Most High and praising the Most High on these days. But on this day, in this same time period, they're trying to invoke their Elohim. They're trying to invoke their Elohim and give them power so that they can have power over us, Israel. So because of our wickedness, the Most High, when we started to go after these other Elohim, and the heathen started to teach us teach us their ways, the Most High would strike us. Because there's something important about the laws and the feast days in which the Most High gave us. Let's go to First Baruch and the Apocrypha. First Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1.
This is the book, First Baruch chapter 4, verse 1, of the commandments of Elohim, and the law that endureth forever.
And this is the law that endureth forever. That includes the feast days.
All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
All they that keep these laws and commandments shall come to life, but those that don't shall die. Why? Because to transgress the law is sin, and the wages of sin is death. Let's continue.
Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated.
Thou mayest be illuminated. Let's continue.
Give not thine honor to another.
Give not thine honor to another.
Nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation.
Nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. We began to give up our holy things, to go and do those things which are wicked. We began actually, when he says that Israel began to follow after the custom of the heathen, if you read inside of 2 Kings chapter 17, it tells you that not only did we follow the way of the heathens, but we did it in secret. So in order to do it in secret, where we think the Most High isn't looking, we began to actually follow the customs of the law, and at the same time the customs of the pagan Elohim. And we began to mix the two. We'll see that in Ezekiel, but let's continue reading.
Give not thine honor to another.
Verse 4.
O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to Elohim are made known unto us.
O Israel, happy are we. Because what?
Things that are pleasing to Elohim are made known unto us.
Things that are pleasing to Elohim are made known to us. So when we keep the law, we know that these things are pleasing unto the Most High. So when we do those things of the heathen nation, we're not only invoking those evil spirits and those Elohim of the pagan heathens, we're also displeasing the Most High and dishonoring his name, because Israel was called by the name of the Most High. And that we were called to be his people, set apart to him. That's why the Feast of Dedication is so important. Because they went and they rededicated the temple and Israel to the Most High, as Solomon did before he fell into sin. They rededicated the temple. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 26.
32.
Yeah. We're going to read 18, then we're going to jump down to 22.
18. The book of Ezekiel chapter 32.
Wait, no, start at 23.
The book of Ezekiel chapter 22.
Verse 23.
Verse 23.
All right.
There is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof.
No.
Oh, sorry.
23.
And the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto her, Thou art to the land that is not cleansed, nor rain upon in the day of indignation. There is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof, like a roaring lion ravening the prey. They have devoured souls. They have taken up treasure and precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof.
So here we see that the prophets, these false prophets, not the ones we're reading from here, but the false prophets, as we read in Maccabees, evil men started to raise up. So there was conspiracy amongst Israelite false prophets to turn Israel away from the Most High. But not only that, if you read verse 26, it's going to say something about her priests and mixing. Let's go ahead and read that.
Verse 26. Her priests have violated my law, and have profaned mine holy things, and have put no difference between the holy and the profane.
Say what?
And have put no difference between the holy and the profane.
They have violated his law and put no difference between the holy and the profane. So here we see the mixing. They're mixing the holy with the profane. You see, so we're following the way of the heathen, and we're profaning the law of the Most High by trying to follow it at the same time to cover up. We go and we worship one of the false gods, and then we go sacrifice to a higher to make sure that he doesn't destroy us. Let's read on.
Verse
26. We stopped in, I think, half point. No difference between the holy and profane, neither.
The rest of verse 26. Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hidden their eyes from my Sabbaths, and I am profane among them.
So it says, they have neither made difference between clean and unclean. We'll see that. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 1. So now we're seeing the Most High is seeing these wicked things being done, but he gave us feasts and festivals to separate us from all the heathen, so that we be holy to him and ministers not only to his law, but also to the nations round about, so that they would begin to follow the Most High as well. But instead, we began to follow those things in which the heathens did, and we fell off as well. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 1. So, because of this, we're seeing a mixture between these two things. Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah chapter 1, verse 1.
Go ahead.
The vision of Isaiah the son of Amoz, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah.
Jump to verse 4.
Verse 4. Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Most High. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward.
They are gone away backward. So right now he's talking about Israel is committing sin. Let's jump to verse 9.
Verse 9. Except the Most High of hosts hath left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
So now let's continue to read.
To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith I? I am full of the burnt offerings of rams, and of the fat of fed beasts. And I delight not in the blood of bullocks, or of lambs, or of he-goats.
Let's continue.
When ye come to appear before me, who hath required this at your hand to tread my courts? Bring no more vain oblations, and incense is an abomination unto me.
So we see here they're still keeping the Levitical sacrifices, even though they're in sin, worshiping other Elohim. They're still keeping these things, but the Most High wanted us to be cleansed and rededicate ourselves to Him 100%. Let's continue to read and let's see that. Let's start at 13 again.
15.
Verse 13.
Bring no more vain oblations.
Bring no more vain oblations.
Incense is an abomination unto me.
Incense is an abomination unto me.
The new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with.
He cannot away with. He says the way that they're doing them, he hates it. Let's continue.
It is iniquity.
It is iniquity.
Even the solemn meeting.
Even the solemn meeting.
Your new moons and your appointed feasts my soul hateth.
He's hating the way that these Israelites are keeping his feast.
They are trouble unto me.
They're trouble unto him.
I am weary to bear them.
He's weary to bear them. Let's continue.
And when ye spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. And yea, when ye make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood.
Your hands are full of blood. So on these certain feast days, the Most High would actually have his presence amongst us. But now we're keeping the feast at the same time as following the wicked things of the heathen nations around us. So the Most High said, no more. He says he doesn't want us to be mixing the heathen customs. Christmas, Easter, and Valentine's, and any other feast day which I can't remember. He told us, you know what, I'm sick of it. I don't want it anymore. I don't want any more. But he didn't say forever. But it's a certain period. There's something that must go on before we could start following the feast days again like today. We can follow them today because that thing is happening right now. We're cleansing and dedicating ourselves to the Most High. But the Most High said he was going to do something. Let's go to
the book of Ezekiel chapter 9 verse 1. He cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near.
Go ahead.
Even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. Behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And every man among them was clothed with their linen, and a writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar.
Yep. Let's continue.
And the glory of the Elohim of Israel was gone up from the cherub whereupon he was to the threshold of the house.
So he's talking about a threshold. There's some threshing that's about to go on. Let's continue.
And the rest of verse 3. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side.
Yeah.
And Elohim and said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of all the men with that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
So he says, go and put a mark on all those who sigh and cry because of the abominations that are committed in Israel. Let's continue.
And go into the others, he said, in mine hearing. Go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity.
He says, now go through the city and smite, and don't have pity when you're going and you're smiting the people. He's talking about the people of Israel. Let's continue.
Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary.
So he put a mark on the righteous to not be slain. He said, don't slay the ones that I put the mark of righteousness on, not the mark of the beast, but the mark of righteousness. He says, don't slay them, but slay all the wicked, which don't have the mark of righteousness, which is the Holy Spirit. Let's continue.
And then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. And he said to them, defile the house, and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth, and slew in the city. So
here we see the desolation, or the slaying of the wicked of Israel has begun. Let's go to Amos chapter 9. So the Most High is cleansing. The Most High is cleaning his temple. He's cleaning his people, Israel, except for those who decide to choose righteousness. You got it in Amos chapter 9? Amos chapter 9, verse 8.
The book of Amos chapter 9, verse 8. Behold, the eyes of Adonai Elohim are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob.
He's not going to utterly destroy the house of Jacob,
saith Elohim.
Go ahead.
For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among the nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
He said he's going to sift Israel. He's going to sift Israel. Go ahead.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. Let's continue.
which say, the evil shall not overtake us nor prevent us.
He says, all those that say the evil will not overtake us. He says, all those people of Israel that are sinners, he says he's going to destroy all those that say they're sinners. He's going to sift us amongst the nations. So some of these killings that you see going on is actually sifting going on. He's sifting the righteous from the wicked from the righteous, and he's sifting Israel. And all those who remain righteous and keep the commandments and stay unadulterated and unmixed from the heathen things of these nations, he says those are the ones that he's going to tell his angels not to touch. And those are the ones that's going to be brought into the land. Let's go to Nahum. First, before we go to Nahum, let's read inside of Ezekiel chapter 6. I'm sorry, I skipped over that. Ezekiel chapter 6, verse 1.
Ahiah's word came to me, saying, Son of man,
Get up on the phone.
Son of man, set thy face toward the mountains of Israel.
He says, Son of man, set thy face towards the mountains of Israel. Let's continue.
And prophesy against them. And say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Most High Elohim. Thus saith the Most High Elohim to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, behold, I, even I, will bring a sword upon you.
He says he's going to bring a sword upon the mountains of Israel.
And will destroy your high places.
And will destroy your high places.
And your altars shall be desolate, and your images shall be broken.
Your altars shall be desolate, and your images shall be broken. Let's continue.
I will cast down your slain men before your idols. And I will
Go ahead.
And I will lay the dead carcasses of the children of Israel before their idols. And I will scatter your bones round about your altars.
He's going to scatter the bones of the wicked around the altar, around the bones of the wicked around the altar which they created for their false gods. Let's continue.
In all your dwelling places the cities shall be laid waste, and the high places shall be desolate, that your altars may be laid waste and made desolate, and your idols may be broken and cease, and your images may be cut down.
Now this is direct connection with why we must keep the feast. Now you see this great purging, you see this great massacre of the wicked of Israel going on by the sword and being sifted amongst the nations. We see that all these people are being killed because they followed the way of the heathen. They did Christmas, Easter, and all these different things in which were made to the heathen Elohim. They did these wicked customs of the heathen and followed their witchcraft and worshiped their Elohim. And their traditions. They did these things and invoked these demons and devils. So now the Most High is saying, you know what, I'm going to sift you. He even went to the point where he says, because of the mixing between his laws and the custom of the heathen, that he would even go to the point of going and not wanting us for a period of time, not doing the feasts and the festivals because it was so mixed and it was so adulterated. So he had to just cleanse us first. So let's stop there. Now we can go to Nahum. Nahum chapter 1 verse 15.
Behold upon the mountains and the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace, O Judah. Keep thy solemn feasts, perform thy vows.
Why?
For the wicked shall no more pass through thee.
Why shall the wicked no more pass through them?
He is utterly cut off.
He is utterly cut off. The wicked have been cut off. Now we may keep the feast. Now we may keep the feast. All those who are gathering in righteousness to the Most High, those who have the seal, we may keep the feast now because the wicked, the Most High has cut off. He says, therefore, Judah, keep the solemn feast. We must now keep the feast because the Most High did all that purging and all that wiping out of these people, and it's still going on, so that we can follow the feast unadulterated, so we can connect with the Most High instead of these demons. That's why we shouldn't be following the custom of the heathens. We're trying to connect with the highest. Ahaya Asher Ahaya, the Most High, who sent his son Yeshua to cleanse us with the new covenant. We're no longer supposed to try to go after those things of the heathen and try to mix with those things of the heathen. It says, the Most High said, do not worship me as the heathen do. Malachi chapter 3 verse 6. He says, don't worship me as a heathen. And as a confirmation to understand that this does not only stop when Yeshua comes, we're going to Malachi chapter 3 verse 6.
The book of Malachi chapter 3 verse 6. For I am the Most High, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
You know what? Start at verse 4. Malachi 3 and 4.
Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto Ahai, as in the days of old, and as in the former years.
Hold up, we can start even higher actually. Start at Malachi chapter 3 verse 1 and read down to 6. And this is powerful right here.
Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me and the Most High, whom ye seek, and shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come.
So he's talking about a messenger of a covenant shall come. He's talking about Yeshua. This messenger of the covenant is about to come. Let's continue.
Saith the Most High of hosts. But who may abide in the day of his coming? And whom shall stand when he appeareth?
Yep.
For he is like a refiner's fire, and like the fuller's soap.
He is like the refiner's fire. Y'all hear that? This messenger which is to come is going to be a refiner. He's going to be refining the people of Israel, and he's going to be grafting in the righteous, but he's going to utterly burn up the chaff. He's going to utterly burn up the wicked. Let's continue.
And he shall sit as a refiner and a purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Most High an offering in righteousness.
They may offer unto the Most High an offering in righteousness. What's righteousness? The law. Let's continue.
Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto the Most High.
He says, then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant. When this messenger of this new covenant comes, we know his name as Yeshua. Let's continue.
As in the days of old, and as in the former years.
As in the days of old and in the former years, their offering is going to be pleasant. Let's continue.
And I will come near to you to judgment, and will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, and against the adulterers, and against false swearers, and against those that oppress the hireling in his wages. And those that oppress the hireling in his wages, the widow and the fatherless, and turn aside the stranger from his right, and fear not me, saith the Most High of hosts.
So we have here, he's saying that in these days, he's going to completely cleanse Israel. He's going to completely cleanse us from sin. And in that day, our sacrifice, which we're going to see what our sacrifice is in a little bit, our sacrifice will be seen as pleasing before the Most High once again, because he's through this new covenant, he's going to purge and purify these people. Let's continue.
For I am the Most High, I change not.
I am the Most High, I change not.
Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. So here we see the Most High is continually trying to purge Israel away from the ways of the heathen. He's continually trying to purge us from these demonic spirits. He's continually trying to separate us from the Elohim in which we began to mix with. We should not have any relationship. We should not be connected with any heathen festival, any pagan Christmas, Easter, Valentine. What are some more festivals that I just don't know? Thanksgiving, New Year's, Halloween, These are the custom of the heathen, and you are invoking the demons in which the Most High has been trying to purge us from the beginning, so that we can keep the feast, so that He can connect with us. Let's go to Romans chapter 12, verse 1. This is what the Maccabees did. The Maccabees during this time cleansed the temple, and they purged it from all the things of the heathen in which was going on in that time. This is the same thing we need to do. But we need to know what the temple is. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 3:16. 1 Corinthians 3, and we'll probably read from 10.
Okay. For ye are yet carnal. For whereas there is among you...
1 Corinthians, let's start at 3 and 11. Go ahead.
For another foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yeshua the Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
Now if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, and stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the days shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is.
Remember, it says that minister of the new covenant, that messenger of the new covenant, he would be as a furnace of fire to purify gold and silver. Let's continue. That was just inside of Malachi chapter 3.
If any man's work abide with what he hath built thereon, he shall receive a reward.
Yep.
If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire.
Now let's read verse 16.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of Elohim?
Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Spirit of Elohim? Let's continue.
That the Spirit of Elohim dwelleth in you?
That the Spirit of Elohim dwelleth in you? Don't you know that you're the temple of the Most High? There's a purging and cleansing going on. Therefore, we should not be following the way of the heathen. We should resist their feasts and follow those things in which the Most High has established from the beginning. This is what He's been wanting to do for us. This is why so many of Israel have fallen and been killed and slain because of wickedness, so that we, the righteous, could come out like gold in the furnace, so that we could finally follow the righteous things of the Most High. Let's read verse 17.
If any man defile the temple of Elohim, him shall Elohim destroy, for the temple of Elohim is holy, which temple ye are.
He says, he that defileth the temple of Elohim, he shall Elohim destroy. So we should not be taking part in the sacrifices, the customs which the heathen do, because their customs are sacrifices to their demons. And when you partake in this, you are defiling your temple. You understand? And even the things they sacrifice, ham, it's an abominable animal, full of sickness and disease. He's not telling you not to eat ham just because he says, you know what, I think they, as a custom amongst their people, I'm going to make them not eat ham. It was set up from the beginning to be something that eats the waste products of the earth, to eat the nasty things of the earth, to get it out of the way, and then it itself would diffuse those things in which are in nature. It takes on many diseases, but it can't die from them, because it itself is a living trash can, basically. So we should not eat it. It's a cleaner of the earth, like catfish clean the sea bottom, the bottom of the sea. So the Most High says, don't defile the temple. And these things which the Gentiles sacrifice, and in the way they do it, the way they keep their customs, is to demons. Therefore, we should not do these things. So I'm going to close on this, Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. Romans 12 and 1. and then we're gonna pray out, or we'll allow questions. Romans 12:1. I beseech ye, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Elohim. Go ahead, you want to read?
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Elohim, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Elohim, which is your reasonable service.
Which is your reasonable service. So knowing that we are... Let's read verse 2, because this is powerful. Let's read verse 2.
And be not conformed to this world.
And be not conformed to this world.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. We must renew our minds and separate from these heathenistic customs of the world. We must renew our minds and be separated from these demonic principalities of this world.
That ye may prove what is good.
That ye may prove what is good.
And acceptable.
And acceptable.
And perfect.
And perfect.
Will of Elohim.
And the perfect will of Elohim. That ye may prove these things which are perfect and acceptable to Elohim. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 8 real quick. And we'll close on that.
Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 8. Therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
Yeah, that's good. You can stop there. So he's telling us in all these things, he's purging Israel. He's cleansing Israel. He sent Yeshua so he can set up the new covenant for all those righteous. And those that don't find their way into the new covenant, they'll be purged by the judgment in which is concealed in the wrath of the Most High. So I like to close here. All praise in the Most High.